My name is Jason, and this is Just Watches. Alright, today we have a watch from a brand that I've wanted to check out for a long time. That's Phoibos. This is the Eagle Ray Compressor Dive Watch. Now, these sold out really fast last time they were available, so I purchased one the day they became available this time, and I'm glad I did it. However, before we begin, if you're enjoying the content of this channel, I invite you to subscribe, and if you like the contents of this individual video, please give it a thumbs up. Thank you so much. So price and availability, at the time of this recording, this watch is available on the Phoibos website for $360. Starting with the case, it's 41 millimeters in diameter. It's 47 millimeters lug to lug, but the end links do sit proud of the rest of the case, so the true lug to lug is more like 53 millimeters. And then it's 14 millimeters thick. About 1 millimeter of that is this domed sapphire crystal, and has a 28mm lug width opening. The case is very nicely finished with brushing along the top that is consistent into the end length of the bracelet. There is a nice high polished chamfer down the edge before transitioning back to brushing along the sides. There is also a gentle curve to the lugs that helps with the wear. The fixed bezel is an interesting combination of knurling around the edge and then a chamfer high polished transition into the sapphire crystal. And then the twin crowns reside at the 2 and 4 o'clock position in the compressor style. The back of the case is a touch sharp around the edges, but not in a way that is uncomfortable during wear. The 5-link bracelet tapers from 20 millimeters down to 18 millimeters. The solid end link has excellent fit to the head of the watch with zero play. The articulation across the back of the watch is very good, and the articulation between the individual links is decent. The links are mostly brushed, with the 2nd and 4th link recessed and high polished on the edges. This style is reminiscent of the Omega Seamaster bracelet. The double push-to-point clasp is one that many micro brands use. It's sleek and signed with a full milled construction and 3 micro positions. Since the links are quite small, I think you will be able to get a good fit even with just these 3 micro positions. I actually prefer this clasp to the much larger 6 micro position clasp that is found on many micro brands as well. Sizing was easily accomplished with screw links. All you need is a 1mm screwdriver. My only gripe about this bracelet is the long end links that greatly increase the lug to lug distance of this watch overall. When I wear it, the bottom of the first link is visible since the true lug to lug overhangs my wrist. This isn't a full deal breaker, but I do dislike when bracelets add that much distance to the lug to lug. If your wrist is larger than 6 3/4 inch, you're not going to notice this problem. The screw in case back is going to help provide 200 meters of water resistance, and then has their high polished logo and octopus with the crown against the satin relief. This is a really fun case back, and I love their playful logo, in part because octopi are my favorite animal. The information around the case back is also raised against the satin relief, and overall this is a very visually pleasing case back. So this watch is powered by the Seiko NH35. This is a hacking hand winding 21,600 vibration per hour movement with a 42-hour power reserve and a stated accuracy of -20 to +40 seconds per day, but I usually find it closer to plus or minus 10 seconds a day in practice. It also features a quick set date. The twin crowns are both nicely signed with the Phoibos logo and are also both screw down, which is a really nice touch. The bottom crown is for normal operation of the watch, and the top crown operates the inner rotating bezel. You can turn it in either direction, and there is a gentle, pleasing click as it rotates. When you get the bezel to the desired position, you just push down the crown and then screw it back in. The threading and unthreading action on both crowns is very smooth. Phoibos did a great job here. The crystal is a double domed sapphire treated with anti-reflective coating on the underside that sits proud of the bezel. I love the dome in combination with the compressor style. It's another fun detail of a playful watch, and I always love to see sapphire crystal with air coating at this price point. The inner rotating bezel slopes down sharply. The finish is a shiny black with a large triangle edged in red at 12 and dots for the individual minutes. Orientation is assisted by the 15, 30, and 45 in Arabic numerals, which will also help if you are timing things with the bezel. Also, the bezel is nicely loomed, which you will see in the Lume shot. The bezel really helps the dial pop and also adds a lot of dimensionality to the watch with its steep slope. The white dial has a pattern that someone described as the underside of a mushroom, and now I can't unsee that similarity. It is a really interesting dial, and I don't think I've ever seen one like this before. It even has a minor sunburst effect. Around the edge is a railroad track with Roman numerals for each of the hours. Then you have indices that are edged in black that helps them pop against the dial. The Phoibos octopus resides at 12, with automatic in red and 200 meters at the 6 o'clock position. Finally, the date resides at 3 and is framed in black. I love the dial and the color scheme on this watch, but I would change many of the details if I could redesign it. I don't care for the Roman numerals. They are too small to be functional and just clutter the railroad track. The frame around the date is way too thick, and it is at odds with the indices, especially the 6 and 9 indices, which seem small and out of place. The hour and minute hand are flat, oversized syringe hands that are completely filled with lume and edged in black. Again, I love the choice to edge the hands and indices with black, as it is a very striking and highly legible effect against the white dial. Also, the minute hand is plenty long and reaches all the way to the inner bezel. The second hand has a lollipop and a nice splash of red to complement the few other splashes of red on the watch. I know this handset is part of the design DNA for Phoibos, but I actually think, and I believe this is the first time I will have ever said this in a review, that the hour hand is a bit too long. I think it would look a bit nicer if it was a touch shorter and possibly a touch thinner, but this is a minor nitpick. As you can see, the lume is very good, easily going toe-to-toe with Seiko. I love that they also lumed the bezel here. And popping it on the Timegrapher, you can see it is running plus 7 seconds a day in the dial up position with healthy amplitude and minimal beat error. Here it is in the crown up position where it is running 0 to -1 seconds a day. So here is the watch on my 6 3/4 inch wrist. On a strap, I love the 47mm lug to lug. On the bracelet, keep in mind the lug to lug is closer to 53mm, which on my size wrist does slightly overhang. If your wrist is larger than mine, you won't have this problem. So pros and cons, starting with the pros. Well, as is the advantage of micro brands, you are getting a great set of specifications for the price. This is also a very playful, interesting, and fun watch, which is exactly what I want to see from a micro brand. Finally, they paid attention to the little details like signing both crowns and having them both screw down. So my main con here is the true lug to lug of 53mm due to those end links. For my wrist, again, it just makes it overhang, and while this watch is going to look great on a large variety of straps, I really like the bracelet and would like to wear this watch on the bracelet. The rest of my cons are just design choices really, so those are going to come down to personal preference. So is this watch worth the money? Well, keep an eye out because I was able to grab it with a 20% discount, so it came to $300, and I think it's definitely worth the money at that price point. They just nailed a lot of the details, and again, it's just a fun watch overall. So even at full MSRP, I think if the design speaks to you, you won't be disappointed. I will definitely want to check out some of other Phoibos' watches in the future. So there you have it, the Phoibos Eagle Ray 200-meter compressor dive watch. What do you think of this watch? Let me know in the comments below. As always, if you're enjoying the contents of this channel, I invite you to subscribe, and if you like the contents of this individual video, please give it a thumbs up. That's all for this time. My name is Jason, and you have been watching Just Watches.